What's up, y'all? I'm here today because I want to talk to y'all about how I healed my depression. Fuck it. I gotta start from the beginning. Okay? So, my depression really started maybe the beginning of high school when I was in 9th grade, and my father was, he left our family, and he just, really went out and cheated. He cheated, adultery. He just completely left my family and just, started building something new with this other person. And, it really hurt because I was a daddy's little girl. I looked just like my father. My father was like, my hero. And he just completely made mistakes, because how money, fame, not even fame, but just like, having reputation and ego can get to a person. He was a Leo too. And I won't lie, like when that happened and I was told hey, me and your dad's getting a divorce, by my mom, like it was just like a really numbing experience. And I just I understood, but I just didn't know what to do. So the situation kind of was I felt my father wasn't being really loyal to the family like how you should be, and it left me and my mom kind of just fending for ourselves. And when I say fending for ourselves, I meant kind of just back to back. We all were a part of a family business. It was a bail bonds, and we all felt like it felt like we was the perfect family when we were all together. We would always go out to eat. It was just, we was well off, and we was just amazing. You know what I'm saying? We felt great. So when he kind of made this mistake, it was just like, damn, bro, he kind of just fucked everything up. So it really put heartache in the family, and it kind of made financial issues difficult because he was kind of I don't want to say he was the only provider in the family, but he was just the main provider. He was creating jobs for the rest of the family, just my brother and my sister. And my mom was still she's a nurse and things like that, so she was making obviously her own money. But when he left us and he just completely went off and started this new family, it was completely heartbreaking, and it was hard to deal with. Understanding that he was a Jamaican man, and he's finding out that his daughter is a little queer, showing behavior of it. He's not accepting me, he's telling me what's up with your hair, da 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 da, and just not having great ways of communication, and also feeling guilty at the same time. And I ended up realizing that before they even really made things super official, he takes me to his new house, and I see I have a little sister who is not a baby, and a toddler, and ended up finding out that she's on the spectrum and things like that. It's just been very, very difficult to accept some things like that. But to continue on with that, I was in high school, still trying to accept things with my father. My father became really distant with me towards my senior year and junior year, and just really seemed like he didn't want no more parts to do with me. And understanding how that made me feel, it made me feel anybody could just leave you at that point. And it was difficult. I will say that it was very difficult, and all I can say is that it taught me a lot, being able to understand that, and just if you can get over the fact that someone like your father maybe not super proud of you. And I don't even think that was the case. It just was just so much guilt dealing with what he did. He couldn't probably look us in the face. If you can be able to take something like that, what I did, if I'm able to take something like that and be able to deal with the fact that somebody like that doesn't want to be as active in my life, I felt maybe I could deal with anything. So I'm in my senior year, and I'm really just starting to accept, okay, whatever, he's gonna go do his thing over there or whatever. And I met his new wife, the kids and things like that. My little sister was the only one that really I connected with. But I started accepting it. And then in the middle of my basketball season on my senior year, sorry for that, in my senior year, let me turn it off. And so my basketball season on my senior year, I get told that, hey, your father has 6 months to live. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? And it's crazy because that's not even the way I found out. The way I found out was he came to see me and he was completely skinny, completely losing hair. He already had chemo. He was such a secretive person, so he didn't even let us know he was sick. And that was the only way I could find out, was just by seeing him and him not even telling me right then and there. I was completely heartbroken, and I went to my mom and said, Mom, like, Daddy don't look good. Like, he looks sick. So she calls him and she's like, hey, she's telling me that this and this and that. He's like, I have a tumor in my brain. I have this, I have that. And I'm just like, how do you deal with that? So I get told, a week later from that, hey, your father has 6 months to live. And I'm like, what? What? So then 3 months later, because I found that out maybe in October, 3 months later, he passes away in December. Now, you guys could already imagine how difficult that was for me. And like, it's crazy because somebody didn't even have to tell me. Like, I could just feel it. Like, my mom sat me down, looked me in my eyes, and I just was like, no way, And basically, to continue going, my depression started all the way from the point of just feeling not accepted, having to be gay, also dark skinned, and having a father who kind of just like left your family, and also feeling like parts of that have to do with him leaving too. Like, it was just a whirlwind of things, and not knowing that I could just be myself, but feeling very trapped in myself because I felt like I couldn't be myself. So when senior year came around and he passed away, I was like, wow, like, this is surreal. I just lost a parent. These are things that I see on TV that I didn't really know that could be real, if you know what I'm saying. And I went to college, and I really didn't want to go to college. I wanted to just be creative and make music. But, my mom was like, you have to at least try. And I left from Florida and went to Texas, so far away. Only months after figuring out my father just passed away, I get isolated. And to be very honest, in college, that was the worst moments of my life. The worst. I was completely alone. I felt like I was by myself in this state with people that I don't even know, in a place that I don't even know, and I'm confined to 4 walls, and I'm not even able to do what I want to do. I'm playing basketball, something that my father didn't even want me to do. And I'm just stuck here thinking about all these things running in my mind. I'm just completely hurt, and just by myself. And that's just like, like, I understand what depression feels like. And I know that, from everything that I put out there, it may just seems like I'm just like this happy being, but it's like, it took a lot of work to get here. And I don't want people to think that, like, she's never been through nothing, like, she da-da-da-da. Like, I have dealt with depression, and I have dealt with that sadness. I have dealt with my demons. I have dealt with those things. But I want you to know that the way I healed my depression was by listening to myself, by being in the moment, when I allowed myself to be me and fully, wholeheartedly me. And when I realized the true essence of myself. So how did I do that though? I showed myself self-love. I loved myself. I took everything about myself that I didn't like, and I learned to love it and realized all those things made me who I was. Everybody was seeing all these great things in me, but I didn't see it in myself, and I didn't understand. When I started loving myself, and I said, this is what's going to happen, and I started allowing myself to be deep in my spiritual practice, I started completely advancing and ascending in such a great level. I changed the way that I thought about things. I stopped thinking like, why me? Why is this happening to me? And I started thinking in a positive way. I started manifesting. I started believing that I was something great. I started believing that I could amount to great things. I started believing that everything that was happening for me, everything that was happening was for me and not to me. I started thinking, wow, so this happened so this could happen. I started believing that everything that was quote unquote bad was actually something that would lead me to something great. And when I started thinking like that, my life escalated in ways. Magic started appearing, and I was just able to completely change, you know? So like, in all honesty, like what I want to wrap this up with is just saying, hey, like, if you want to heal that depression, if you want to get over that monster that is in your head, you have to change your beliefs. You have to change your thoughts. You have to change the way that you're thinking. That is the first way. Your battle will never be physical. It is always mental. Get yourself together. Change your thoughts. Change your beliefs, and your life will change. You guys go ahead and check out Vance Global. I don't know if it's going to focus. Check out Vance Global. They are a CBD brand that I have been partnered with recently, and I will say they are fire as fuck, bro. Like, no lie, they're fire as fuck. Like, I stopped smoking weed, so CBD. Also, get off the drugs, bro. Get off the drugs and stop trying to use drugs to numb your pain. It doesn't work. But I've gotten CBD because I've gotten off of weed, and I won't lie, bro. Like, this shit's really done something for me. Facts. But this is Styx'S, and I'm out.